Welcome back, guys. Katie here. Let's do a little bit of thrifting today. I hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend and ready to dive in and see what I found. I did stop at Goodwill and it was too busy to be able to get any shots of the shelves in this particular Goodwill. I did want to show you guys, though, the little pile that I set aside for myself. It includes this vanity chair I got for $3.99. The seat is in rough shape. It needs to be recovered, but luckily I have tons of vintage fabric and I have a staple gun, so that is pretty much all I'll need to get this looking beautiful again. I also grabbed this Boho Basket. It has a hanger on the back for $1.99. This will be going to my resale booth. But even more exciting is this pair of coasters from Weeki Wachee Springs in Florida. It's where they have the mermaid attraction. This attraction has actually been around, I think, since the 50s or 60s. It is absolutely wonderful. I have been there myself. I'm going to hold on to those. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to keep them yet or maybe put them on eBay, but I love finding vintage mermaid anything. I did get a couple of children's books. These were 79 cents each. I always loved these kind of 3D books growing up. It kind of has like these little scenes set up on the inside. It looks like they used real dolls to take the pictures. So I went ahead and grabbed this. I am going to put it in the resale booth along with this Smurfs book because any 1980s stuff that I find seems to sell really well. And since I bought those so cheap, I can just sell them for a few bucks and they'll go fast. I did find this wonderful skirt. It is Urban Outfitters. It was probably quite expensive when brand new. I got it for $4.99. It's in beautiful shape. I have a green tank top that will go wonderful with it. So I did go ahead and add this to my cart. I don't buy clothes too often anymore because they are getting really expensive at Goodwill. But for $4.99, I thought it was a great buy. Moving along to another Goodwill, this one was less crowded, so I was able to get some shots of the shelves. And as you can see, someone donated these happiest place on earth clocks and posters. I thought those were kind of fun and tacky and all that good stuff, all at the same time. I did like this little green Tupperware pitcher, a little pricey for me, so I left that behind. I always love looking in the silverware because on occasion you can find sterling pieces, and those of course have a wonderful resale value. I didn't find any today, but it never hurts to look. I did also like this old cast iron pan. I'm always looking for the Griswold pans. You don't find them very often, but a lot of people are refinishing those these days, so if I can find them at a great price, they are worth grabbing. I do love looking through the metal. I love finding old brass for my house. I also love to find silver plate and even sterling when I can, because those pieces always sell really well. And they also match my house, so a lot of it I end up keeping too. They did have some cool green vintage glass, which I am an absolute sucker for. But today I did have to stay focused. I'm really just kind of looking for some items for resale today, unless something really, really catches my eye and I want to get it for myself. Their prices here are still fairly reasonable, but their mugs and things, they're still asking $2.99, $3.99 for. It's not like it used to be where you could usually grab these items for under $1. So I have to be a little more picky these days. I did find these little Ray Dunn canisters. Those would be cute for anyone who is a Ray Dunn collector. Some of those pieces go for quite a bit of money. The ones that you see there are kind of, in the mid-range, so I left those behind. Someone who collects Ray Dunn will be really happy to find those. And we have a little pink depression glass. It looks like a cake plate. I thought that was awfully pretty. I always browse the candles because I love finding candles for a couple of bucks. I usually can find Yankee candles and Bath and Body Works candles for a few bucks when I look. I didn't find anything on this trip, unfortunately, but it is always worth looking because it's a great way to get candles for cheap. Little more pink depression glass. And as you guys can see, I mean, the prices are really reasonable. You know, $3, $4, $5 for these pieces, which isn't bad. But unfortunately, depression glass just is not selling like what it used to. I did love this little old angel print. I thought this was kind of neat too. It's probably 1980s, but it's like a little stair step shelf. And I thought, how cute is that? I thought, oh my goodness, I could paint it white and put it in the kitchen and put plants on it. And then I thought, okay, I'm really just tying myself into another project I don't need. So I left it behind. One of the things I did grab though, I found this beautiful little children's quilt, and it is made out of all vintage fabrics. $4.99. It might be kind of hard for you to see the prints on the blanket, but there's some really cute little kind of animal and juvenile prints. Very sweet. It looks like they probably used old feed sack for these. And there were not any holes or stains. So for $4.99, I decided to go ahead and grab this. I will be adding it to my resale booth. And I think it's a wonderful little vintage piece to have. And it's in incredible shape. So this definitely had to come home with me. Browsing the linens, I found a few little things I thought about, but the prices were a little high. I do like to grab aprons if I can find them cheap, but definitely not for $4.99. They did also have these really cute little embroidered pieces. I think they had $4.99 for the set of those. So that's a little bit more than I'd like to pay. If I was paying for that, you know, that much at a shop, then yes, but at a thrift store, I tend to kind of keep looking. I did browse the books. This one like tugged at my heartstrings. I'm thinking like this would traumatize me as a child to have a book of Big Bird crying. I did like that one though, and I did like the Raggedy Ann and Andy book. Moving along, I stopped at an outdoor sale. This was being held at a place that has different storage units, and so the people that have the units love putting on sales. These items were all outside. They had half off any of the items that were outside. I looked through the Christmas ornaments, hoping I'd find some vintage, even some vintage Hallmark, you know, from the 70s or 80s would be good. But unfortunately, nothing really caught my eye in these boxes. I did look at the tables just to kind of see what other items I might want to take home for half price. These were kind of cool. They would have been $7.50. It was a group of Alvin and the Chipmunks dowels that I thought were actually kind of cute. I also liked this little bench. I thought that was pretty cute, but again, it's a project piece. I did grab that little green vase you saw in the beginning and that little peach plate because those were, I think, only about $1.50 each after the discount. I also grabbed this cute little cheese tin. I thought it was terribly cute, and it was only $1. They also had a bunch of stuff inside of the storage unit, including this incredible package of vintage wrapping paper. And I just absolutely love the graphics on vintage wrapping paper. It has a great resale value. I can use it in crafting. This had some from maybe the 70s and the 80s. They had $1 on one bag, and I believe $1 or $2 on the second bag. Either way, this is my little pile I made. So I got the little green vase, which I will put plant starts in, and that little plate. I got the little things of the tin, the little cheese crisp tin, and I also got the wrapping paper. The next sale had some cute stuff. I thought this little Skunk Game was awfully cute. I also found some fabric scraps. All of the fabric remnants were half off. I found this little kind of Morning Glory piece. There's quite a bit of fabric in there. That was just $1. From that outdoor sale then, I went to another Goodwill just to kind of see what they had. I was really bummed. This one had pretty empty shelves. I mean, they were starting to get Christmas out. There was not any Halloween really out yet. It was pretty slim pickings, which always just hurts my little thrifting heart. but I did at least want to kind of peek around and see what I could find. It just seems like a lot of kind of 90s Christmas. I, of course, had to look at the candles, but they had them priced pretty expensively here. I thought these were cute, kind of these little old Thanksgiving candles. But I don't know, just nothing really, caught my eye, or the price was a little bit higher than I wanted to pay. I do like to take the time to go through scarves. This is actually a really pretty Vera Bradley one that I found. But I'm always looking for vintage silk ones, especially if they are designers, because those have a great resale value. People tend to really like those. This one was kind of cool. This one actually looked handmade. It looks like they used vintage fabrics and stitched it, which I thought was fun. I did come across some other little pieces. Oh, look at Elvis. I thought that was a cute jewelry box. I mean, some other things that, once upon a time I may have grabbed for resale, but it's really getting hard to find anything at Goodwill now under $3, $4. I mean, just about everything at least starts around $4. So if you want to resale, and still give your buyers, a really great price, it's just getting kind of harder and harder to buy for resale at Goodwill. So most of the items that I find anymore are pretty much just coming home with me for my own displays. I did find this little vintage My Little Pony. I wish I could remember her name. I'd have to look it up. But she was one of the little Pegasus ponies. The ones they make now just aren't nearly as cute as the ones that they made in the 80s. They are just precious. She was $1.99, so I did go ahead and add her to my cart. This is kind of a neat mid-century looking, modern salad bowl. Unfortunately, it looked like somebody must have put it in the dishwasher because it was quite faded. Also a really pretty crystal candle, candy dish. I wish I could keep candy out at my house, but my dogs would help themselves in no time. But I still love kind of the old look of the old candy dishes. And finally, this cute little A&W mug. I think they had $2.99 on it. Cute little vintage advertising piece. So that wraps up our thrifting for today. I want to thank you guys so much for joining, as always. I appreciate every view, every comment, and I appreciate you guys stopping by. So until we talk again, happy thrifting.